If you've ever found yourself clinging too tightly to a partner, or shutting down emotionally when someone gets close, or feeling confused and frightened by intimacy, those patterns likely have roots that go all the way back to your first relationships. The researcher who gave us the clearest map of those roots was Mary Ainsworth, a developmental psychologist whose meticulously designed research transformed our understanding of how early attachment shapes a lifetime of relating. Ainsworth built directly on the theoretical framework of John Bowlby, but where Bowlby worked primarily from theory and clinical observation, Ainsworth developed a way to measure attachment directly and systematically. In the 1970s, she designed the strange situation procedure, a structured laboratory sequence that allowed researchers to observe, in a controlled 20-minute session, exactly how infants responded to separation from their caregiver and reunion afterward. The procedure involves 8 short episodes. The mother and infant enter an unfamiliar playroom. A friendly stranger enters. The mother leaves. The mother returns. These carefully orchestrated moments of stress and relief proved exquisitely sensitive to individual differences in how infants manage their emotional and proximity-seeking responses. From her observations, Ainsworth identified 3 initial patterns: secure, anxious ambivalent, and avoidant, with a 4th pattern, disorganized, identified later by Mary Main and Judith Solomon. Secure attachment is the healthy baseline. Secure infants use their caregiver as a safe base from which to explore. When left alone with a stranger, they may be upset, they miss their caregiver. But when the mother returns, they are genuinely soothed. They recover relatively quickly and return to play. Secure attachment develops when caregivers are consistently responsive to the infant's signals, not perfectly responsive, but reliably enough so that the infant's nervous system learns, when I need comfort, it comes. About 60 to 65% of infants in Western samples show secure attachment. Anxious ambivalent attachment, also called resistant or preoccupied attachment, develops when caregivers are inconsistently responsive, sometimes warm and attuned, sometimes distracted, emotionally unavailable, or intrusive. The infant can't predict when care will come, so they amplify distress signals to maximize the chance of getting a response. In the strange situation, anxious ambivalent infants are highly distressed at separation and extremely difficult to soothe at reunion. They cling to the caregiver but also seem angry, pushing away, arching their back, inconsolable. The strategy is understandable. If you can never be sure of your caregiver, you escalate emotional expression to maintain contact. In adult relationships, this pattern often shows up as anxiety about closeness, fear of abandonment, a tendency to become preoccupied with the relationship, difficulty trusting that a partner's love is stable, and a hypersensitivity to perceived signs of rejection. The emotional volume is often turned up. Avoidant attachment develops when caregivers are consistently rejecting of the infant's attachment needs, not necessarily harsh, but emotionally unavailable, dismissive of distress, or uncomfortable with closeness. These caregivers often value independence and may inadvertently communicate that emotional needs are unwelcome. The infant learns an adaptive strategy: suppress attachment behavior, don't show need, don't expect comfort, because expressing need doesn't work. In the strange situation, avoidant infants seem remarkably calm during separation and indifferent at reunion, but research using physiological measures shows they are actually equally stressed as other infants. The outward calm is a learned suppression, not genuine security. In adult life, avoidant attachment manifests as discomfort with closeness, a strong preference for self-reliance, difficulty expressing emotions or needs, and a tendency to pull back when relationships become emotionally intense. The emotional volume is turned down, but the feelings are still there, beneath the surface. Disorganized attachment, the 4th type, develops in the most difficult circumstances, when the caregiver is also a source of fear, through abuse, frightening behavior, or severe unresolved trauma in the parent themselves. These infants face a biological paradox. The attachment system drives them toward the caregiver for safety, but the fear system drives them away from the same caregiver as a source of danger. There is no coherent strategy. These infants show confused, contradictory behaviors at reunion, approaching and then freezing, turning away while reaching out, dissociating. Disorganized attachment is the strongest predictor of later psychological difficulties, including dissociation, complex trauma responses, and relationship dysfunction. The crucial point about attachment styles is not that they are destiny. They are learned patterns, deeply learned, but learnable in new directions. Secure attachment can be earned through new relationships that consistently provide the responsiveness that early caregivers did not. Therapy, deeply honest friendships, and securely attached partners can all, over time, revise the internal working models built in infancy. You are not your earliest relationship. You are the one who can choose to understand it. Subscribe to Psychology. Theories Explained for more psychology breakdowns every week.